Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the Daily Dose. Today is Thursday, October 20th. And we started off green today trading-wise, and we moved back into the red as the stock market faces further pressures from the macro economy and just everything going on in the world right now. There's really not a lot to push stocks higher. There's not really a reason to be optimistic for investors, so we're still facing some of that pressure, and we're headed downwards. The S&P 500 was down 0.8% today. The Nasdaq was down 0.61%, and the Dow was down 0.3%. So if we come to our year-to-date chart, the Dow Jones is down 16%, the S&P 500 is down 23%, and the Nasdaq is down 32% on the year. So not really a ton to get into here about what happened on the day. I mean, we're really just continuing downwards. We're putting a lot of pressure on this level right now, and I don't think that'll bode well for the future if we break through. There's obviously a lot of structure in this zone. There's a lot of chop in this zone, which means that the market can't really make up a decision about which direction it wants to go from here. And usually that means that when it snaps through, it's an aggressive move. The market has made its mind and it's moving to the next level, whether that happens to the upside or the downside. If we take a look at these candles right here, they're not good. Obviously, the buyers are putting up a fight here, but they can't get it through this zone. We can't get out of this level right here. We've tried a couple of times, and we just can't do it. So we're feeling a lot of pressure right now. We're right in the middle of this level between 37.20 and 36.35, and we closed at 36.65. We're just putting a lot of pressure on this. If we break through this zone, I've said many times, the 32.50, this zone down here makes sense for the S&P 500. And if that happens, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin's doing the same thing, putting a lot of pressure on this zone. I do not think that this trend line will act as a point of support. I don't think that this is really a true break of the trend line. Let's come to the weekly. Let's take a look at the weekly. Yeah, exactly. So if you look at the weekly here, there's still actually a chance for us to close below on the weekly. And we knew that we would probably come through right here and stay flat. We also now know that since there's not really a big sign of strength, that the most likely scenario is to come back down through. And honestly, with where we're at now, the most likely level would be 9,000 to 12,000 on Bitcoin, especially if we see another aggressive leg down on the stock market. That would make the most sense to me on Bitcoin, because there's nothing stopping it until we get down to the 9 to 12,000 range, and that would be a great buying opportunity as well. And the reason that stocks keep going down, honestly, if you're new to the channel or just new to investing in general, the reason we can't get anything to move this market up is because of the Federal Reserve right now, mostly. Obviously, you have things going on with China and Russia, Taiwan and Ukraine, but really what we're seeing here is the Fed destroying demand in the economy. They're trying to bring prices down. They're raising interest rates faster than they ever have before. And in a tightening environment, it's not good for equities. And no matter what happens, until we see a pivot, the trend is likely not to change. So we're likely to stay in this trend until the Fed decides to stop raising rates. And really, this whole rally out of COVID was because of interest rates going to zero and just complete ease and stimulus in the economy. And we just were literally in a straight line up, and that needed to come to an end. So that's where we are at right now on the stock market. I don't really have anything else valuable to add to that. If you have not subscribed, please do that. If you haven't followed the podcast, please do that. I release one of these episodes every day that the market is open, and I release a longer, more in-depth episode on the weekend, and I'm wanting to start special series soon. I want to make just like a beginner, what is money, what is investing, go through that, make a couple episodes, turn it into a series. I think it'd be really great. If that sounds good to you, definitely subscribe and follow for that. But until next time, I do appreciate you watching or listening to this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.